The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
Well, it is Thursday, the 25th day of January 2024. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. I'm Jamal Hartman. Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. We've got a lot to discuss this morning. A lot of, if we need to go over time, we'll go over time. But there's a lot going on. And thank you to the journalists out there, the media outlets who continue to bring us the stories that our community needs to hear and be a part of. Real quick, someone's happy about today's guest, Kia Renee BDA. I guess she knows who the guest is today, so she's a bit excited, and we appreciate it. Look, she says, "Yay, go overtime." And I tell you all, one of the, I think what keeps me getting up so early in the morning to do this show is the conversations with the audience and the guest. Being able to create a platform and have a platform that people can come on and engage and tell their story as from their own perspective. And instead of people, in the comments on news stories where people can't respond, they can engage directly with people on this platform. So I appreciate that we have this platform, but I'm also going to give credit to the media outlets, the Royal Gazette and the TNNs, and for bringing people's stories to light so that we can discuss with people on this platform. So I really am gracious to people who continue to trust us to have conversations like what we're about to have today. So greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome Malachi Symonds back to the show, and we're going to hear a bit more about his story. You may have seen in the Royal Gazette that he's given up. He's done with dealing with the government of Bermuda with his project and his plans as it relates to being, just a farmer. The Daily Play, we're going to do a Name That Place today. So a really, really fun one. And no one got yesterday's one. So today we're going to see if someone can get it, and they'll be eligible in the draw with Kia and Amber for tomorrow to see who gets the big giveaway. And please don't forget, if you haven't already, please subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. That said, I want to go to the Royal Gazette real quickly because, some people need our assistance. On the Royal Gazette yesterday, this was titled, "Bermuda Pie Company Battling Rising Food Costs." And the story says, rising prices have left many food businesses scrambling to stay afloat. After many sleepless nights setting up the Bermuda Pie Company in 2017, owner Chris Ferbert thought he could relax a little. He had staff, he had savory pies, his savory pies were popular, and he had plans to expand. Sometime around the end of 2001, I noticed I was not making any, I think they should mean 2021, if it's started 2017. making money anymore. I was paying 3 times the amount that I did the previous week, did previously per week on ingredients. Over a period of 4 months, he calculated spending 10,000 more on chicken compared with before the pandemic. He goes on to say the figure only relates to chicken and does not include any of the other meats or products we purchase, which also sharply increased in price. Now, I'm going to stop there and we can go back to the article. We can go back to the article. But, this show is a community. We're a community of people who get together to have conversations. And one of those things as a community that I think that we should take the responsibility of is helping people, right? That's what community does. We're there for one another. We support one another. The question of this morning is going to be, what advice would you give to a struggling business owner in Bermuda? What advice would you give to a struggling business owner in Bermuda? And I'm just going to share, I've got some notes, right? I got my whiteboard here, right? But what advice would you give to a struggling business owner in Bermuda? One of the things that I just want all of us to understand is some people may be business owners, some people may not be. But running a business is not a charity, right? And I say that because, I'm going to use the restaurant crawl that we did last year. The Daily Hour did a restaurant crawl, and it was a certain price. We had people who, well, that's a lot of money. Can we do it less? We wouldn't charge the amount of money we had to if it was not covering costs. Why do I share that? The number one thing, and I know we're many of us are struggling. We don't have additional money laying around. But if you know someone's in business, and let me be clear, not everyone in business is Bill Gates or Warren Buffett or Steve Jobs. Some people actually leave jobs and make less working for themselves. Some people leave jobs and make the same amount working for themselves. Some people leave jobs and make a lot more working for themselves. But what has to be clear here is that running a business costs money. So what we as a community must stop doing is thinking that everyone in business is trying to take advantage of us and charging us too much money, especially when we have a choice not to purchase whatever it is that is for sale. So one of the key things with Chris Furbett and Bermuda Pie Company, you just heard, he said the rise in cost. Well, when costs rise, the only way for Mr. Furbett to stay in business is to increase the prices of his products, right? That now goes on to us, the consumer. The first thing the consumer usually does, oh, that's too much money. And that's understandable. But we can't go around saying, oh, we need a support bit. And then we're the first to say, hey, no, it's too expensive. We do that. So I want to touch on that. But again, what advice would you give to a struggling business owner in Bermuda? What advice would you give to a struggling business owner in Bermuda? Kathy Rogers says, I agree. The increase for ingredients is insane. We are having the same issue. We have to have high price on products just to cover the cost for ingredients. Yeah. And folks, this is a community. I just heading over to Instagram to see if there's any comments. But feel free. What are your thoughts on this? Our community. I'm going to name a few businesses, right? It could be Scooter Mart. It could be, what's the fish place called on North Shore? That place down there has the good fish. It could be Lindo's, People's Pharmacy. Folks, when these businesses raise prices, and I just want to drive this home because we have this a mindset that businesses are evil. When I read this story from this gentleman, Chris Furbett, about the Bermuda Pie Company, I sympathize with him. I sympathize with him. It's hard. He goes on to speak about the cost of electricity and gas also rising, right? Some staffing issues. He resisted putting his prices up, fearing people would simply stop buying the product. But he had to finally give in and adjust them. He just literally just looked at the cost of the ingredients and it reflected that. So I see, people on social media, I see people in comments, I see people saying, oh, let's save this business, let's do this, let's do that. What we need to do as a community this morning, and I'm speaking to everyone, what we need to do, we need to figure out, how do we do that? What advice, audience, what advice would you give to a struggling business owner in Bermuda? What advice would you give them? What would you say to them? Would you tell them just pack it up? It's not worth it. Be honest. Would you tell them just pack it up? It's not worth it. Would you say to them, you know what? Increase your prices and just do some themed days or nights or just be more creative. What would you say to them? Because it seems like when you go on these lists on social media and are complaining about prices, everyone's got something to say. We've had Zach Moniz from Lindo's come on this show and explain why they've had to increase or why groceries haven't increased. And you all have been receptive to that once you've understood it. The BAC group, they laid people off in December, right? And it was this big thing and everyone complaining. Folks, did we think about the economy overall? Like, can they afford to even pay people? Are there people buying appliances like that? Are there enough people buying appliances? What about the construction industry? As a community, these are the conversations we need to be having. These are the things we need solutions to. So again, the question of the morning, what advice would you give to a struggling business owner in Bermuda? Because I tell you what, Bermuda Pie Company is one of many. Unfortunately, it's one of many. You all know me. I try to be a man of my word. I really try to be a man of my word. So I do try to support local businesses. If I can find something in Bermuda, and I'm honest with it, I tell you, yes, because I live in the US, Amazon's easily accessible if I need something quickly. But yes, I do shop in Bermuda. Why? Because I understand the impact of money going out of Bermuda. I get it. Our economy needs every dollar circulated in it as possible. Every last one. I just saw someone talking about, how Bermuda Air is going to expand and they're having all these issues with the planes they got. I'll stick to AA. We don't understand how detrimental that is to our own, existence. Think about this stuff, folks. As a community, ain't nobody coming to save us. We have got to support ourselves. Again, the question is, what advice would you give a struggling business owner in Bermuda? Let's go to the audience. Silas Lynch says, I didn't understand some people complaining about $11.99 being too much for a pie. They clearly don't understand the cause and effects of doing business, especially in Bermuda. I just think we have to, as a community, understand that the idea of owning a business is not evil. Every business isn't $1 million business. Look, folks, let's be clear. I'm just going to repeat what I said for those who are just tuning in. There are people in business that make less than they did working for someone else. But guess what? They have peace of mind, maybe. They enjoy what they're doing a bit more, right? There are people in business who make the exact same that they made working for someone else. But again, they have that peace of mind. They have the ability to be more flexible with whatever it is they're doing and that passion. And then there's the Bill Gates and the Warren Buffett, Stephen, who make tons more money working for their own companies than working for someone else. The point I'm making, stop thinking that every business is out there to scam you and take from you. To run and own a business is an expense. It is. And the only way they can stay in, that again, you're getting all these supplies. We haven't even dug deep about Levette Pemberton said it. Rents are expensive to set up home delivery service, right? You know, all these things play a role. Thank you. Seaside Grills, the fish joint I was talking about. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. All right, so let's go back to the audience. Again, what advice would you give to a struggling business owner in Bermuda? And we've got Silas Lynch says, increase prices, definitely. Stop trying to be the crowd pleaser by being affordable option. Quick question. Anyone know if that store where Leisure Time used to be, remember they came out and were offering like discounts on everything? Are they still open? Are they still open? Because I want to go check that out when I'm in Bermuda. Charles H. Duffs II says, here's my advice, continue to tell your story. And we all need to hold our elected officials accountable for finding workable solutions. A lot of this is in legislation and policies. Notice I didn't bring up the politics part this morning. I didn't. But thanks, Charles. Kia Renee BDA says there might have to be some business collaborations and community collaborations for support. I love her. I really like that. Collaboration's key. You know what one of the greatest collaborations in Bermuda is right now? Media Maya and Bermuda Communications Group. The conversations Maya and I have are some of the most inspiring. And I think you'd be inspired of you in some of them. But collaboration, that right there is key. Maybe the advice to Bermuda Pie Company is, look, why don't you collaborate with somebody, share a working space, cut down on costs? That could be it. That could be it. I love you guys, man. This is why I love doing it. Kathy Rogers says, on point, Jay, we need to support our own as often as possible. Absolutely. Look, I've sat on this show a number of times. I'm going to use Bermuda Air. And I said, man, I want this airline to work. Because, you know, Charles H. Jeffs II said to me some years ago, we were talking, he said, look, man, no matter how long I've been outside of Bermuda, Bermuda's home. That's what I want to succeed. And, you know, I was angry at Bermuda at the time, you know, conscription, all that. So I was trying to brush Brother Charles off. But he's right. No matter where Maya, myself, Jack, any of us are, Bermuda is home. And because Bermuda is home, because that's where our family is, our love, right? We want Bermuda to succeed. But Bermuda also has to give us a chance to be successful as well. Traveling Trotty says, embrace new technologies or strategies that can improve efficiency. Absolutely. Thank you for that. Technology. We have to evolve. We can't do, you know, this is ever changing. Look at what this show from episode number 1 on May 4th, 2020, from then to now. New technology. We're on Instagram now. Maya screamed enough about that. But my point is, we've evolved. Maya and I and Central, the crew, we're all heading back to Vegas in 2 months for the National Association of Broadcasting Conference for that very reason. What can we learn next to go to a next level and give you all better quality? It's an expense. But we invest in ourselves, and that's something that Tamara, People's Pharmacy, always said for years. Invest in yourself. Invest, I mean, like a broken record, but she's right. We've got to invest in ourselves. Silas Lynch says, don't get into business solely because you think you're going to make millions. Bingo. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I said last week, and I pick on Maya, but I said, I don't think Maya's what she is because she's passionate about what she does, just only because of passion. I don't think because of her work ethic. I think she's what she is because she does what Connor Smith actually said on this show. When the lights are off and the computer's down, she's doing the work that needs to be done. So are these business owners doing the work when no one's watching? We live in I scrolled Instagram yesterday, and no disrespect to everybody on Instagram tuned in. I scrolled Instagram. You know what Instagram, mind you, Ben Rigo had one of the best Instagram posts I have ever seen a Bermudian post. Go check Ben Rigo. It is one of the stories of old stories. Ben Rigo's account, he did a story about Riddles Bay. It's one of the best. But I scrolled Instagram, and you know what Instagram reminded me of yesterday when I scrolled it? One boring-ass commercial. When I see commercials come on TV, I tune it out. Well, that was when I had cable anyway. On the radio, when a commercial comes out, I switch the station. Instagram just seemed like a bunch of people selling me something or telling me something I didn't care about. But you know what? It works. It's not about what I like or find interesting. It works. It works. That's what you call embracing change and evolving. Let's go back to the comments because we've got a conversation with Malachi coming up, and we've got Maya with the news break. Charles Jeffers II says, as an island, we just need more people here. We need people here contributing to our economy, financial and social. Absolutely. More people will bring costs down. And if you don't understand how that works, it's very easy. Traveling Charlie says, connect with other business owners, both within and outside your industry, and collaborate on projects or initiatives that could benefit all parties involved. Still open. Yes. Thank you. I asked about the store of leisure time, where leisure time was. And they said they have an ad on social media. Thank you all. Yeah, a lot of yeses. Alrighty. Malachi Troy says small businesses have to be creative to survive. Innovation, diversity, and creativity is an entrepreneur's biggest asset. Indeed. Michael Daniel says collaboration is a really smart way to go. I tell Mike all the time, you don't work for me, you work with us. We work together. That's collaboration. Like it's real. It's real. We're going to close it out because we've got a very important conversation coming up with Malachi, and I just want to make sure that we get as much covered as possible. Rosalda Severin says collaboration can go beyond other business. What collaboration can be made with nonprofits that translates to some built-in customers? I love the way you all think. Look, Rosalda, it has to go beyond business. It has to go. It has to be community driven. When I thought about creating a business, community was front and center of everything I wanted to do. And that comes from my teachers and mentors. That comes from the Glenn Blakeness of the world and Elroy Smiths. That's where that came from. As long as you put community first, you should have a chance, right? What other communities desires? Charles H. Jeffs II says, my understanding is that our wholesalers pay the same percentage in duty as someone who brings in one or two of the same items. I hope I'm wrong. If I'm not, shouldn't wholesalers pay less in duty? Well, one would think so, Brother Charles. Let's bring Maya Palacio in for the Daily Hour News Break. Folks, do me one favor before you do that. If you have enjoyed the discussion this morning, and if you're ready for the Daily Hour News Break and Malachi to share his story, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like on whatever platform you're tuned in. And with this conversation with Malachi, make sure you share it with your friends, your family, your colleagues. This is a conversation that our community needs to be a part of. Let's just go. We do have a comment on Instagram. One day, I hope that Maya screams enough to make sure we could get the Instagram comments on her as well. But I am KG W says, I feel like most Bermudians don't market correctly. Many Bermudians in the US that haven't been back home in a while, I'm sure it's clueless to what's that. Um, I think I understood that. All right. So let's bring in Maya for the Daily Hour News Break. And after that, we got Malachi coming up.
Good morning. Good morning.
Greetings, MP. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really loving this discussion this morning.
You know, I have so much to ask you about this topic. But something that, well, before, go ahead and share what you share, because I have questions based on what some people were saying.
I don't know, what was I going to share?
I don't know. You said you were loving the topic. I thought you were.
Yeah, I love topic. Okay, I'll share something. I guess piggybacking off of what a lot of people said in the comments was collaboration, and I thought that's brilliant because someone said like, oh, maybe if they like were in the same kitchen as somebody, same space, share the space. I was like, that's an idea, you know. But then I think about like how often are Bermudians willing to like work together, collaborate together, and to share, you know, happiness and positive things together. I don't know. I feel like sometimes we could be a bit secluded, and that gets to us, and that can hurt us a lot because we don't want to share our successes with other people sometimes. And then the other thing about at the end that you mentioned there, about some Bermudians not knowing how to market, it's just interesting. I had this conversation just the other day about how now everyone wants clean looking, you know, Instagram, things like that, but they're still not hiring the right people to do it for them. So, you know, so it's those type of conversations too.
I'm going to end it on that. Because my question to you was going to be, how important do you believe collaboration is to the success? But you said hiring the right people, like to do that. Maya would tell you, I mean, between her and Amber, they make me feel like I'm 60 years old when it comes to some of the technology and stuff that they do. And I be pushing, but what about this? What about no, Jamal? And honestly, when you trust people, when you work with people and trust people, right? And this is what, you know, their forte is, but she's right. How many people are willing to give that up? It took me a while to get there. It took me a while. You know, how many times do you come to me, Maya, and be like, hey, I know someone who might be good at this. Would you be interested? That happens a lot, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's, for me, it's, if you're in business, you've got to be willing to give some things up too.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got to be willing to give some things up. Look, I'm very honest about it. Being in business is hard, Maya. It's hard working for, you know, doing something and it's not guaranteed. It's a risk.
Mm-hmm. And trusting other people.
Yeah, it is. But I tell you what, I wouldn't change it for the world. I honestly wouldn't, because again, I'm gonna expose Maya a bit. Maya, how many stories were you working on yesterday?
Total, I think maybe 9.
Maya, how long does it usually take?
Depends on what I'm looking to achieve, Jamal. Sometimes it's 25 minutes, other times it could be 45 to an hour.
Okay, Maya. But Maya, the reason I asked you that, if one story can take you 25 minutes, all these folks get is 5 to 10 minutes of a news break.
Yeah, that's just editing. That's not even going there and recording it. Or
There you go. My point is, the work gets done when no one's watching, the real work. And if we're committed to that, it's so much easier. But collaboration is key. Maya, you could take it away, because we could go on about this forever.
And then we got an important conversation coming up that I can't wait to hear what Malachi says about collaboration. All right, good morning, everyone. This is your Daily Hour Newsbreak brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Starting out your news this morning, well, the rules around beards and hairstyles for the Royal Bermuda Regiment soldiers in the uniform have changed as the organization takes a further step to embrace, and we all know the word, diversity and individuality among troops. So let's hear just a little bit more.
Commanding Officer Lieutenant Colonel Ben Beasley explained, quote, The rationale behind allowing beards is twofold. Firstly, the RBR no longer trains with respirators, rendering the traditional need for clean-shaved faces obsolete. More importantly, our observations and studies show that in other services, allowing beards has maintained, if not enhanced, their productivity level. This evidence provides a strong foundation for our decision, ensuring operational effectiveness remains our top priority. A trial of the new rules was carried out over several months, and feedback was overwhelmingly positive, indicating a boost in morale and a sense of empowerment among troops.
Maya, you watch baseball, you know about the New York Yankees?
I watched some baseball.
Okay. Hear me out, audience. One of my issues at the Bermuda Regiment was the whole shaving of your face. I was a big baseball guy. I hated the Yankees because they beat my Braves in a couple World Series, came from 2 down and won in the mid-90s. The Yankees also were the team who they went and signed all the best players back then, right? So if a player had a great year, they went sign them because they had George Steinbrenner, the owner. One thing about the Yankees, though, once you enter, they had this rule. You could not have any facial hair below your lip, meaning no beards, only a mustache, if anything, but they prefer it was just in uniform. A slugger named Jason Giambi, he was with the Oakland Athletics. He was a big slugger, hitting home runs for ease with the Oakland Athletics, Oakland A's. He went to the Yankees and all of a sudden changed. He was a flop, as they called him. And it was the first time, and back then I watched ESPN so much, like 24/7, right? And they were talking on ESPN one day and they said, the Yankees took away his personality. Now he can't perform. And as they went deeper, they said, part of his personality is his beard. That's the look. He had this big, rough, tough look. If you take someone's personality, the character they built around who they are, they're not going to perform the same. I thought it was so minimal. Like, I was like, what is that? I share that because I think this is an important move by the Bermuda Regiment to embrace where we're at. Let's be honest. Men have a beard. This is beard season still. If you want the best, you've got to meet them where they are. Sean, to get the Bermuda Regiment on the show, please. I want to talk to him some more.
Well, in other news, this is for all students or persons still looking to further their education. The Ministry of Education's 2024 scholarship application period opens, and they have also increased the money, plus this little something extra that they're trying to do to encourage male teachers. So let's listen in.
The Minister of Education, the Honorable Diallo Bain, says that the Ministry of Education scholarships and awards demonstrates their commitment to supporting Bermudian students and their ability to pursue post-secondary education. This year, they will offer almost $2 million in scholarships and awards. The application period for the 2024 Ministry of Education scholarship and awards is now open, with the application deadline on Monday, the 8th of April. Minister O'Bain added, quote, in an effort to promote greater gender diversity in the teaching profession, the Ministry of Education is launching a new award program designed to encourage male students to embark on a teaching career. They are excited to announce 4 new awards tailored for male students pursuing practicum experiences, aiming to inspire the next generation of male educators. Students must apply online at www.bermudascholarships.com.
So more male teacher, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You know, what's interesting, I believe, and I wanted to do a little extra research last night, one of the books that I read, it had to do with Bermudian book, and they had a lot of male math teachers way back in the day until they opened up for accounting for Black men specifically to finally be able to take over those career jobs in Bermuda. And so that reduced the number of Black male teachers and kind of heightened the Black women teachers in education because they didn't get the opportunity to do accounting what the Black men did first. So that kind of was when, they sort of went away and the women in education just kept going out.
Interesting. Our colleagues, Larry and Phil, even Roger, they've all been in the classroom. So none of them are there anymore, right? Interesting.
It is. So now they're trying to, increase that. Well, in other news, if you are an owner of an abandoned type of vehicle on the island in Bermuda, you really want to pay attention to this because the Ministry of Transport will be removing abandoned vehicles. This coming from the Ministry of Transport themselves. So here's something that you need to know.
Residents have raised concerns about abandoned vehicles, and the Department of Transport Control has taken decisive action to tackle the issue of abandoned bikes, cars, and public service and commercial vehicles. This week, TCD traffic officers launched a strategic plan to identify, ticket, and remove vehicles left by their owners. Traffic officers have commenced issuing tickets on abandoned vehicles. These tickets will be served as formal notice to the vehicle owners, notifying them of the impending removal of their abandoned property. He says, quote, "We acknowledge that the legal requirement for notice is 7 days. However, we believe in providing ample time for vehicle owners to rectify the situation. Hence, we will begin collecting abandoned vehicles after the 14th day of ticket issuance."
I didn't know Bermuda had an abandoned vehicle. I know we had abandoned boats, but I didn't know we had. Okay, interesting.
That was interesting to hear. I'm actually looking to see like what the stats are on there. I know I've seen a couple, but like didn't necessarily complain. But I guess after a while, having them sit there is an issue. They need people to like help them identify these, abandoned vehicles as well, and just send any information that you can to abandonedvehicles@gov.bm should there be like a vehicle that you don't want to see anymore in a certain area.
Interesting.
Definitely. Well, in some greener news, there's actually a couple of events that you can go to this weekend. The first one being that Curb Bermuda they're actually trying to get people who wish to help them out with this pond initiative that they're doing to help stop any pollution from going to the pond. It's about building some nature reserve and some plants around the area in Spittle Pond. So if you are in the area, live in the area, have nothing to do on Saturday, January the 27th, that's something that you can take part in to help greener the island and to help there be no pollution in the ponds around Spittle Pond. And then the next one is the Green Expo, which will take place the next day on Sunday, January the 18th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. up in Dockyard. And there will be just green activities all day, whether it be walking, exercising, healthy foods, and different setups going around as well with people who, have sustainable practices in their businesses can teach you about what they're doing.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, getting real green in Bermuda. And I will move on to the weather. Today, we're looking really sunny, which is super great. So we got a high of 68 degrees, a low of 61, and just really good weather all along. I hope there's some good weather for you guys today.
All righty, cool. Here's your days of the year. It's Fish Taco Day today. Fish taco. The only kind of taco I would probably eat, really, because I don't do the beef stuff or the pork stuff. But fish taco. I had a friend out here visiting in November, and we went to a Mexican joint and had like the best fish taco ever. It was like mahi mahi. So I guess the question, audience, is what's your favorite kind of taco? Yeah, you're a fish taco, Maya?
Of course, I'm a fish taco girl. I don't know if I'm a fried fish taco girl anymore. I like a good baked fish. To be quite honest with you, I do just like a nice little grill, grilled fish.
I like the blackened fish on a taco. What's your favorite taco, audience? Let us know. So yeah, fish taco. go get yourself a fish taco, man.
I will probably try.
All right, see you later.
Bye.
All right, Maya Palacio, folks. Don't forget, we've got Malachi is coming up immediately following this break. Kathy Rogers said fish from Factory Ocean View. Okay, they must have him. Soul Foods Tacos, Sydney C. Smith Lamb says, all right, some people got, she says all of them. She likes all of them. We've got the ordinary taco. So the ordinary taco is that hamburger meat, that ground meat. All right, folks, we're going to take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. Malachi Symonds coming up. He's going to be telling his story. If you haven't seen the Royal Gazette story yesterday, Malachi is saying goodbye.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose People's, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it People's. I call it my one-stop shop in the city. People's, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. Thanks again. It's the Daily Hour. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medicals, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy, for ensuring we can have these conversations with you on a daily basis. Do not forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Folks, if you haven't already, please make sure you give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share this conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. Without further ado, we're about to bring in our guest for the day. Let's give a warm TDH welcome. He's coming back, Malachi Symonds. Calm down, calm down, calm down. Greetings, sir. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good, man. I must admit, I look at the Royal Gazette daily. And the first story I read on the Gazette yesterday was what we discussed earlier about Bermuda Pie Company. And then the second story I saw was the story that was headlined, Just a Farmer Calls It Quits. And I asked the question earlier, what can we in the community do? And I felt a sense of guilt, just being very frank, as, wow, maybe we didn't do enough, or I didn't do enough to ensure that, Malachi could fulfill this purpose in which he really wanted to do. So just explain to the audience and myself, why did you decide to call it quits?
I really decided to call it quits. I mean, I was reading some of the comments in the Royal Gazette too. The first time I had reached out to the public for help, and they came out hard. I definitely appreciate everybody who supported. I had people coming out and saying, hey, let's have a march, let's do a petition, let's do it all. And that was really inspiring. That kept me going. But it just became too much, like I'm not able to fight the red tape and make a profit. Like farming, especially sustainable farming, needs a lot of time invested. Like, you got to weed by hand, you got to fertilize by hand, you got to till the garden semi-manual, which is a little tiller by hand. So it was just becoming too much overhead to continue keeping it open. I planted late in the season because I was afraid the farm was going to be removed, so I missed 3 or 4 months of growing. Then of course the permits came in December saying, you have to pay this certain amount of money. And it just was, it wasn't worth it. It wasn't profitable, and yes, I was in this more so for the community and more so to show people what they could do. But at the end of the day, life keeps life. And, I want to have a family. I want to, I strive to be more family orientated and have my own family and grow my empire, but I can't do that taking home, little to nothing every month.
And as you say that, Malachi, what are some of the lessons that you've learned from this experience?
I guess for me, I was bootstrapping, and bootstrapping for me is like where you kind of just invest as you go. You make a little bit of money and you keep it running. You keep investing, and that's a part of being an entrepreneur anyway. But I think for me, I wouldn't do it the same way again. I think you definitely need to have a certain amount of money built up. Luckily for the farm, I was able to eat off the farm because I was, farming food. So I literally ate off the farm, which helped to cut my costs and a lot of my issues. But yeah, I think it's just having a buffer, having a certain amount of money set aside to do it, whether it's a loan, which is putting yourself in debt before you even start your business. So that's somewhat of a negative position to be in. But I think the bootstrapping is the hardest, because it comes in, you put a little bit in your pocket, and then you say, oh, it'd be nice to have some new boots for farming. So that little bit of money that you put in your pocket to, feed yourself, you ended up purchasing stuff to go towards the business. So new shirts or, it just becomes, and that's normal, I guess, in a year, because, all the business classes I took basically said you need to make a profit. You have to survive the first year, and in the second year, you should make a profit. So I think I was like 2.5 years in, and that's when I decided it was just not worth it.
Indeed. And audience, if you have any questions or comments for Malachi, you can share them in the comments, and I'll try to get through as many as possible. At this point, again, you're done, you're quitting, but is there anything, Malachi, anything at this point that can change your mind?
Frankly, I am not. So I'm closing down the actual farm itself. I'm just going to remove anything that's causing issues with the red tape. So the selling stall, the chicken coop, the shed, and anything else that they're not happy with, I'm going to remove it just because I don't want to deal with the stress. I don't want to deal with the red tape, the constant fight. I don't want to deal with that. So I don't think there's anything, truthfully, that'll change my mind. I'll still be doing the fruit trees. I'm still going to do consultations if people need it. I did buy property, and that has been a whole journey. I've been also selling some lots and a few other things, but it's been, I want to help Bermuda. Like, my cause is still to help Bermuda. And during my trip to Dubai, with a few other peers, I realized personally that I can't fight from the ground all the time. Like, I got to meet activists, and I mean activists that were like influencers that, had a whole lot of people following them, that when they spoke, people listened, and they still couldn't get their point across. They couldn't convey, or they got it across, but they couldn't get it into the room that it needed to get in to make change. So I think through that, I've decided that I need to be in a place where I can help to make the proper change. Like, I need to be at the table where the people that are making these decisions, that are deterring food security and everything that I've been trying to push for, and everything that Bermuda needs, I believe, I need to be in that room or sitting at that table. So I haven't stopped the fight as such, but I have to invest my energy and time in a better place.
Indeed. Got you. Question of the morning today was asking the community, advice on what they would give to a struggling business owner, right? I always believe, the government will always be there, legislators, that will happen. But I always believe that the community are the old, it's really on us. We're the ones who elect people, put people in spaces, but also we're the ones who can help our fellow people, and we can hold people accountable. What do you believe the community could have done to help you more, if anything?
I definitely think the community came out very, very heavy. From just bringing egg cartons to recycling bags to coming by and giving me, truthfully, the first time that I reached out for help, the only reason I continued was because there was so much community support. I think in that aspect, I've been supported greatly. I think I couldn't have asked for more. It was breathtaking, the amount of people. I know we always talk about Bermuda being divided racially, and I felt absolutely no division at all when it came to people coming out to support. So that was, I think that maybe if people were more willing to ask, because Bermudians and people are very, very prideful, so maybe asking in the right way for help, or I don't know, I think it's just the ability to ask for the help is probably what we're missing, because it's true, prices are rising, and it's going to continue to rise unless we do something about it, and everybody on the island is feeling it. I think you were talking about the Southampton earlier and the long lines. To me, that's a sign that Bermuda is in a very bad place, that you have so many people lined up to get furniture. To me, and I could be wrong, but that just seems like financially things are very bad here,
Yeah, indeed. I want to go to the audience. We've got a couple of questions and comments, sorry. Anika DeShield says, this is so sad. The produce from organic farm will help improve the overall health of Bermuda lowering medical costs and prescriptions such a shame. You want to speak to that in any way?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, one of the things that I've been saying for a while is you are what you eat. And I mean, I've been pushing sustainable farming because in Bermuda, I agree organic is important, but sustainable farming, I feel like goes just a little bit further because you use what you have in your environment to not only create healthy food, but you also use what you have in your environment to create a circular economy. And a part of a lot of the organic standards, because Bermuda doesn't have that, is being able to create your own fertilizers or portions of your own fertilizers on the farm. You know, so yeah, I completely agree. If we could get more organic farmers, even just more fresh produce in general, because a lot of our stuff's imported, it would reduce the amount of, healthcare costs. It would reduce a lot of our issues, diabetes, obesity, everything.
We've got Michael Daniels asking, could you use a good business manager as a partner?
I don't know. I think that I've had a lot of. I do have a partner, and you know, she's definitely very helpful in the business side of things. I think it just got to the point where I no longer want to continue to fight on the red tape side of things. Like during my trip to Dubai, I actually found the grants and the ability to apply for these grants. And I spoke to people who were like, listen, if you applied, you'd probably win because what you're doing aligns with everything that we are trying to do, teaching the community, producing sustainable foods, I think out there, or the sexy way to say it is regenerative farming. You're doing all of that. So you'd win these grants. They were like 150K, 75K. But again, I think it's just coming back here and trying to manage the red tape. I don't want to make Bermuda look bad or make myself look bad because these big companies gave me a certain amount of money to, push out a really attractive and, sellable product, and I'm not able to do so.
Interesting. Charles H. Jefferson II, he's asking, would you say it was the red tape or the lack of community support that influenced your decision?
I think it was mostly red tape. I've had a lot of community support. Yes, some people would say my prices are high. I have had that. Obviously, in business and meeting people, you always get these different encounters. I think for the most part, most of my encounters were positive. I did have one where an older lady stopped by and asked me if I was the owner of the farm because I was young and if she could speak to somebody who was older than me because I guess she didn't think that I could be an owner or manage a business. But other than that, I just think it was a red tape. I couldn't diversify my product. I couldn't be innovative. I couldn't be creative. And I did partnership. I did collaborate. I'm doing some work with Gorhams. My fruit trees and everything is going through Gorhams. I also got some help from Noah's Ark. They gave me like a Christmas package, which was amazing. They gave me a wide variety of things to really take care of the chickens. So I have been collaborating, and people have been reaching out and helping as much as they can. But it's more so the red tape.
You've said so many interesting things, but I want to go back the race thing. At the end of the day, when we say community, we mean everybody. You can't go into business and just focus on that. You have to go in business, and at the end of the day, if you want to survive, you can't exclude certain people, especially in a small community like Bermuda. Kia Renee BDA asking, are you in any way continuing or maintaining the skills you learned about organic farming to keep the knowledge alive in Bermuda?
I am. I'm looking. So obviously I have, life to take on. So I'm actually stepping into, a suit and tie job to pay bills and grow. But the idea would be to continue the consultations. I'm looking at maybe doing a podcast with a few friends of mine that are also in the farming industry. But things are kind of slowly growing into that space. I'm currently building a group. Well, yeah, I'm building a small greenhouse, just to keep the fruit trees going and certain things like that. But yeah, I want to give this knowledge to everybody who want it. So I'm looking at doing a podcast to do so, starting from soil health right up to seedlings, probably moving into fruit trees. I might do a few classes, um, a few courses or workshops. But yeah, in short, yes, I am.
Well, I think you answered this next question just now. In the end, will you host any course, tours, knowledge sharing sessions? I think you just gave us the answer, right?
Yeah.
Um, I saw something interesting in the Royal Gazette article, Malachi. Said you bought some land in Costa Rica, right? What are your hopes with the land in Costa Rica?
So I mean, I guess I shouldn't take it as common knowledge, but I studied in Costa Rica. I spent 5 years. And during that 5 year period, I had a daughter, beautiful 4 year old girl. And I have been trying to get more access to her because, like a lot of people's situations, I've been alienated. So part of me going to Costa Rica is to get closer to her because, again, my biggest thing or my drive is family. So I'm trying to get down there mostly to get closer to her and spend the time that she needs because I could be wrong, but my point of view is as a young girl and a young boy as well, but a young girl needs her father in the picture. So, I've we the land was purchased or paid off this year. It was purchased, yeah, finished paying off this year. And the idea is to go down there and form a sustainable kind of homestead. I'm not looking to leave very soon, but Costa Rica is a lot more ahead on the green energy, on the green side of things. um, so yeah, I mean, moreover, it's to try and get down there and yes, get to build my dream out a little bit, but also get closer to my daughter.
Indeed, indeed. Silas Lynch asking, if you received a piece of private property to continue the farm locally, would that be an option?
I thought about that. I had a lot of people reach out, maybe on a teaching side of things, but I wouldn't look at it to produce just because of, it's so much to take on. Like, I think with the change in climate, the way things have been going with all the water, you need a different type of growing environment. You need to control your environment a little bit better. So greenhouses definitely need to be put up if we're not battling right now high winds, then we're battling high humidity from too much rain. I think last year was like the most rain we've had in like 50 years or something. So, climate change is definitely doing a lot. Um, so maybe on a teaching scale, yeah, or even on just a consultation scale, like if you wanted to do it and you needed somebody to come in and show you or help you along, or then I'd do that. But I don't think I'm gonna put my my feet back, grounded in the dirt like that for a while. Not here, at least.
We've got Charles H. Duffs II says, I hope our government has heard this and other stories. It sounds like we're losing another young mind who has the will and knowledge, but not the government support needed. Do you feel like yourself and others have the government support that's needed for you to succeed in Bermuda?
I think that there was a lot of support. I mean, frankly, I feel like the only time that it really became a big issue was when it was publicized, when it came to media. I think that when that happened, there was a lot of outreach. I won't deny that. I had Robane come out. I had Mr. Birch come out. Um, I had Mr. Farber come out. So there was definitely some support. But I think the support where it was needed was more on the policies, more on the regulation side of things. Like these regulations need to be adjusted because if there's an issue, yes, I got through it or they helped me to get through it, but it needs to be done at that level so that the people coming behind me have the ability to, not have to deal with these hurdles, and it becomes easier because at the end of the day, well, at least I feel as though my business was for the community. I'm trying to do something that was literally for the community. I spent 2 years and a half basically on a passion project, and I didn't really make anything out of it. I met a whole lot of people. Let me not say that. I became very wealthy, just not financially. So I think that it just needs to be changed at a policy level. Yes, I did get support, not deniable, but it's a policy issue that needs to be adjusted.
Okay. And you said you have a business partner, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Because Michael Daniels just said, he says you have lofty goals. Do not try to do it by yourself. And he also said earlier, as a farmer, you need to focus on farming. What is your role and your business partner's role, just for clarity for his comments?
So my partner manages the finances, the social media side of things, and I think that's about admin. Yeah. Whereas I manage the production side of things, the logistics of how things run, farming as a whole, the diversity, I guess, going into fruit trees, doing people's gardens at home, and the Orange Valley Farm, and what products we plant, what's popular, and what needs to go in the ground at what time. So the logistics.
That's so important, though. I'm glad you said that. But partnership is so important in business. I'll never forget Dakia O'Brien, who used to own Wallwing Wednesdays, and she came on this show and she said, "Look, running that business was an eye opener." She's like, "I'm a chef. I don't, do marketing or accounting and stuff like that." So partnership, collaboration is all important. And I'm glad that you said that. Anika de Shields is asking, is there a farmers association perhaps banding together to review the hindering issues, the policies currently in place?
There is a farmers association. I believe Carlos Amaral is still the head of it. I think they came together in 2021 officially, like legally, but I think we're still sorting it out. So I am a registered farmer. I believe, still a part of it, but it's still being sorted through. It's a lot of politics within the farmers themselves that needs to be mowed over, and I think that we could collaborate more as farmers personally, because we don't do that very well. But I think that there's room for improvement, and I think that over time we will improve.
Before we let you go, Malachi, I think there's, just between the story about Bermuda Pie Company and your situation, I think as a community, there's just so many takeaways. What would you say to the community? A lot of people, as you saw in the comments on the Royal Gazette, have a lot of opinions, right? A lot of perspectives. What's the one thing you want people to take away from your situation that, you want to provide clarity to, that they can take away and help them in their own situations that they may be facing?
I guess something that I've always stood with and resonated with is never cast a stone at somebody before you've kind of lived that situation. So before you judge somebody or try to say that they're lesser or more, make sure that you put yourself in their shoes. Look at all the angles of that situation, whether it's positive or negative. I know as humans we're quick to judge and we're quick to to talk, but sometimes we need to have a listening ear and think about it. It's very easy to throw a stone, but if you were in that predicament, how would you managing, and I guess that's the biggest thing, taking a bad situation and, managing it correctly will change the outcome. That's something that I've lived by as well. So, hopefully that helps a few people, and, hopefully they listen.
All right. Before we go, just one last question from the audience. Mark Arthur C. Phillips says, Malachi, I'm truly sad to hear this news. I'm hoping that sometime soon you'll be able to run a garden again. And he goes on to say, did you feel the fees for farmers were too high?
I think that the actual cost for like renting property as a farmer is pretty decent. What I found difficult was just the rest of the departments, like estates seems very on board and in tune with the farmers, but planning is like, I guess since we're talking about collaboration, there is very little collaboration or connection between the departments that have a say in everything, like planning, estates, and Denner don't collaborate. They don't work together to have a policy for one person. So farmers have to go through planning and then estates and then Denner separately. And farmers need to be most of the time in the field. That's what they do. They spend from day break to night basically in their field farming. So to take out a day to go to planning, because we all know how that is now, you can't go around there. I don't think you have to call or send an email, and then to go to Denner, and then to go to estates, which is probably the easiest one. You don't really have to go around there. It's quite easy, but there's no collaboration. That's the biggest issue, I think, between these departments.
Malachi, it's been a pleasure having this conversation with you. Thank you so much for providing clarity and sharing your story. I appreciate the other mediums, but it's nothing like, you're not quoted on this show. It's directly from you. So it's not like we're editing anything that you're saying. So I appreciate the clarity. And I think I speak on behalf of the community. We're wishing you the best going forward. And at least with us here, my email address. If there's any way that personally I or my partners and I can support you, please just reach out and let us know.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful one.
All right, you as well.
All right, Malachi Symonds, folks, if you appreciated that conversation today, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share that conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. We're going to take a quick break. Come back. Someone's going to be eligible to win a big prize tomorrow. Will it be you? Stick with us.
Hi there, welcome to Medical House. We're located at number 6 Bakery Lane. I can't wait to show you all of the great stuff that we carry. Come on inside, let's see. Let's kick it off in the footwear department. When it comes to footwear, we carry functional, comfortable, orthopedic, and waterproof shoes. We have construction shoes, golf shoes, shoes for walking, shoes for boating. We even have shoes for pickleball. We have shoes for everyone. With brands by Skechers, Atrax, Propay, Easy Street, Nursemates, Clogs, Avenger, Cherokee, Cat, Frog Talks, and DeWalt. The list goes on. Take a look at our workwear for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places, and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Pair with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear. You can't go wrong. Long days, long shifts, you no longer have to endure comfortable underwear. Designed by nurses, we now offer premium undergarments by Swoop that are unique, fun, comfortable, and functional. The only underwear you'll ever want to wear. Who says high-quality functional products can't be stylish and comfortable at the same time? Speaking of stylish, we also have top-quality running, walking, and workout apparel by Skechers in a variety of sizes for men and women. Cool, breathable, and dry. With our wide selection of Skechers footwear, you'll look great before, during, and after your workout. As you can see, Medical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
You'll be surprised at everything we have to offer at our huge new retail and wholesale location on Bakery Lane.
All righty. Thanks again to Malachi Symonds, folks. If you appreciated today's conversation, please make sure you give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. These are helpful community conversations. Thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we can have these conversations with you on a regular basis. It is time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, audience, here you go. The first person who I read the answer from on my screen that I see, who gets it correctly, will be eligible with Amber and Kia Verne BDA to win this week's prize. Here we go. What nation's capital is Sofia? All right, must be a lot of Googling going on. No one, someone got it. Someone got it. Stacey Ann Brown, Bulgaria. Wow. Congratulations. Okay, we've got Argentina, no. Serbia, no. Another Bulgaria, but Stacey Ann Brown, you got it first on my screen. So you'll be entered tomorrow with Amber and Kia to see who is this week's winner. Congratulations. Audience, give her a round of applause. Give us some congratulations. Give us some congratulations. Michael Daniels asked, Jamal, if you didn't have your back office, would your show still be on air? No. It's not even just my partners, it's my colleagues like Maya and the team, right? Like, no, it takes more than me to do this show. You may see my face or more often or hear my voice, but keep in mind that this is just one business under Bermuda Communications Group. So the Daily Hour is just one aspect. So it's a much larger company than this, to answer your question, Michael Daniels. So no, I couldn't do it on my own. I may have an MBA, but I'm not an accountant or a finance person. My business partner is a CPA. She specializes in accounting. So no, the quick answer is nah, I would not likely be able to do this on a daily basis without the support of everyone that's a part of what we do. All right, folks, let's wrap it up. So real quickly, it was a great conversation this morning about what we can do to support struggling businesses in Bermuda. I love the idea of collaboration. Some of these businesses should collaborate. As someone said, don't go at it alone. But also as a community, I'm going to repeat what we've got to stop asking people for discounts. We have to understand that business. It's hard. Again, put on a restaurant crawl. We're taking losses to put an experience on, and people are saying, "Oh, well, that's too much. Can we do that?" We have to cover expenses. Like, we're not making money on this. We're doing as something for the TDH community, right? So, we've got to understand that businesses are not the big bad guy all the time. And everyone in business is at a different level. I'm going to use Traveling Trotty since she's in the audience. Although I don't think I'm invited to Cartagena, a friend of mine said to me, look, let's go on one of her excursions. I trust her. I want to support her. She's probably not going to be Warren Buffett from offering her, trip and services. I would love to see that for her, but she's doing something she loves, sharing it with others, and hopefully she can make $1 doing it. That's what it's all about. I know her and trust her. That's why I would want to do that. She's a part of the TDH community. But we have a tendency to see something like that on Instagram or social media and run and support others. There's some lessons with Malachi's experience. There's some lessons. And I'm glad that he was open to telling his story. But I want everyone to really take this. All my uncles, entrepreneurs. And one of my uncles, I'm not going to go into detail, but he said, when running a business, you have to know when to walk away. You have to know when to walk away. Don't let pride put you in a deeper hole. In Malachi, that's a lesson I took from it. In his mind, it was time to walk away. Thank you, Anika de Shields. And this is timely. This also applies to jobs. When it no longer serves you spiritually, mentally, emotionally, financially, just one, all it takes. You've got to know when to walk away. Our lives depend on it. Richard Scott says, we want better for folks, but not better than me. You know, Richard, I'm glad you said that. I want the people around me to be better than me. What they say, if you're the smartest person in the room, then you're in the wrong room. I'm very particular about who I surround myself with. I want to be the least smart person, because when I'm in those spaces, guess what happens? More growth and opportunities. Folks, it's time for daily inspiration. Here's your daily inspiration for today. Quote, change will not come if we wait for some other person or if we wait for some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. Former United States President Barack Obama. Please don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy, for ensuring that we can do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. I'm Jamal Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great day. I am out. I just want to send real quickly love to our sister Sherry and her sister Marcia Bradshaw as they celebrate the life of her father today. So just sending a lot of love, wrapping our arms around Sherry and her family today as they celebrate the life of her father. Until tomorrow, I am out. Peace.